Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be covering the leaked announcement for Act 5 Chapter 2. There is a lot of really exciting and really good stuff in here, and there's a little bit of bad. There's a little bit of stuff that seems a little bit BS, but simultaneously, like, it's mostly good stuff. The majority of it, like the rewards for this chapter, and also there's an event coinciding with it. These rewards seem absolutely insane, like so much free stuff that you're going to be able to get on a weekly basis. So yeah, some really good stuff in here. But anyway, let's delve into this announcement. Again, it was a leaked one. This isn't 100% official, but it's from the same source that leaked all the 12.0 early stuff. So I'm pretty sure this is legitimate, especially with the format and layout. It all sounds like fairly believable, fairly legitimate stuff. So yeah, we should hopefully be expecting this official announcement from Kabam, maybe either later today now that it's been leaked, or I would imagine kind of around like next maybe Tuesday, Wednesday time. So yeah, I need to keep an eye out for that. But anyway, so apparently Chapter 2 of Act 5 is going to be launching on June 15th, but there are 2 more chapters to follow before the end of 2017. So that's basically confirming that the rest of Act 5 and all of it will be released before the end of this year. I would anticipate that we're going to see Chapter 3 in September and probably Chapter 4 around December time. So one of the very interesting things about the second chapter is they're doing something they haven't, to the best of my knowledge, done before, whereas they're doing an initial run for 3 months where the quests in Chapter 2 are going to be significantly more difficult, but also a little bit more rewarding as well. So, you know, if you can do it in that time frame, not only do you get this exclusive title, but you also get better rewards. And in comparison to the first chapter, we'll get into the rewards in a second, they are so much better. I'd say the rewards for like doing exploration are about 10 times better. Like, they are insanely hype. So you want to make sure that you can probably get this chapter done by September 10th to get the maximum benefit possible. But if it's a little bit too difficult, they do mention this is the hardest piece of story related content they've ever done, which I think means it's going to be easier than the Labyrinth of Legends, but obviously harder than 5.1. So hopefully it shouldn't be too bad, but I'm interested to delve into it a little bit more when it launches. So yeah, you have until September 10th to defeat all this content. You got 3 months to get the maximum amount of rewards possible for this. So yeah, they like to think it's the most difficult piece of content. So new buffs, new nodes. Oh my gosh, this is the fun that everybody wants. So the first one, Power Shield. This one actually isn't too bad. So the attacker's basic attacks deal no damage, but still generate power, and special attacks deal plus 400% damage. So I think for Power Shield, Hyperion, he's going to be like the go-to character for this, because like with Hyperion, you just like parry, you can just keep on spamming heavy attacks, just keep on stacking and stacking that Fury, and then he's got the increased power gain. You just smack off like a special 2, and you just win the video game right there. So yeah, I think Hyperion for Power Shield chapter, he's going to absolutely demolish and dominate that one. But I assume if you're against champions with a lot of buffs, like most Mystic characters and Mystic Dispersion will be good, but any champion really, I'm sure will work quite well for this. But, you know, it's those power gain champions you definitely want to take advantage of. So the next 2 are kind of related. So whenever the attacker, the next one's called Buffet. So whenever the attacker, aka you, triggers a buff, the defender nullifies that buff and regenerates 5% of their overall health over 5 seconds. So yeah, basically that one is you don't want to use champions with buffs, and then you've got an inverse of that, which is whenever the attacker puts a debuff on the defender removes it and regenerates 5% of their maximum health. However, I think the defender one is going to be Master Schism. It's going to be a little bit more tricky, because that means you probably won't be able to parry the opponent if they're instantly removing that and converting that into regeneration. So for that one, you're going to have to be just very good at intercepting. But I believe when dealing with like either one of these, like Star-Lord is just going to be like the best option by far, especially when it comes to tie-in with the monthly event quest and the buffs you get from that. And we'll talk about that in a second, because they do relate to these nodes quite clearly. And then you also have a node called Bane, which is the defender begins the fight with a curse that deals 2.5% of their maximum health as direct damage per second. Whenever a champion with a curse hits the opponent, the curse is transferred, and the curse switches champions after 10 seconds if no contact is made. So there's actually a very, very similar node to this on Agent Venom in the Labyrinth of Legends, but it's more like 10% of your maximum health, and you got 3 seconds to do it. And that one's pretty manageable. Like, it honestly, like, isn't too bad from a lot of the gameplay videos I've seen. I've yet to do it myself, but again, this is a much, much longer version of that. There's a lot more leeway, it's significantly less punishing, so I think Bane's going to be pretty manageable to deal with, but I'm interested to see, you know, if there are any other nodes in combination with that. Next one we've got is Role Reversal. Class relationship bonuses are reversed, so yeah, that one's just a bit interesting. Like, there isn't too much, just the class advantage wheel goes the opposite way. So in terms of like nodes, actually, we'll talk about the last one first. So the last one, I really don't like this one. Every time a buff expires on a champion, they take 2.5% of their health as direct damage. So, you know, if you've got Dexterity, if you're going Team Collector, and we'll talk about that in a second, Shatter just completely wrecks you. It just absolutely destroys you. So yeah, I really don't like the design of Shatter. In terms of like these new nodes, I like Power Shield. I think that one's interesting. I like Bane, because that's fairly manageable. Role Reversal, like, it's nothing too interesting, but it's alright. But Shatter, Masticism, and Buffet, like, I just don't like any of those nodes. Like, they all have a very like, I just don't really like the design on them personally. I don't think they're too fun or interactive. But yeah, like, there's some good, there's some bad, like, should be pretty manageable, but Shatter just seems like a load of BS to me. So what are we getting, guys? Let's talk about the rewards. So this section is doubled up for some reason, but I believe this is the rewards. So for just doing the completion one run through, you get 25% of a 5-star crystal, you get 4 tier 4 basic catalysts, you get 20% of a tier 2 alpha, you get 5 times greater ascendant crystals, so those are the ones that most likely contain a big chunk of ISO, but also have a chance to contain either a tier 4 basic or a tier 4 class catalyst. And then you have basically a 4-star hero crystal and a bit. You get 2,500 4-star shards, 25-star signature stone crystals, 30 Grandmaster shard crystals, and we'll talk about what those do in a second, and 450 units. So overall, some really nice rewards for the completion, but the exploration, this is where it gets pretty crazy. So for exploration, you get 5,000 5-star shards, so that's half a crystal. You get 3 tier 4 class catalyst crystals, you get 1 tier 2 fully formed alpha catalyst, you get 10 greater ascendant crystals, you get 2 fully formed 4-stars, you get 1 5-star awakening gem. So incredibly hyped for this. Like, that is the reward that I am so badly after for many characters, mainly Gwenpool at the moment. Like, I'd really like a skill awakening gem. And then 5 times greater Grandmaster shard crystals and 750 units, and then either Grandmaster's or Collector's avatar, based in which faction you've decided to go for. So then the next thing they're talking about is Grandmaster Fragments. So essentially, Grandmaster Fragments are going to be like buffs. They're going to be like items, you know, like boosts and stuff, which kind of correlate with the star level of your champion, just to give them little bonuses like increased attack and stuff. But it's really not too interesting. There's increased attack, more bleed damage, more regeneration. So it's basically like these shards are basically like a variety of different boosts for certain characters. I'm sure in certain matchups and fights they're going to be fun, but yeah, like, I don't know, like boosts, I guess they're okay as long as the content isn't completely balanced around boosts and that they do give you a little bit of an edge. I guess, you know, if you can use them in existing content like the Labyrinth of Legends, hey, that's going to make some stuff maybe a little bit more easier. But yeah, not too sure about that. That might be good for us, might not be too good, but generally speaking, I don't know, like, I don't find boosts too fun or interactive, but hey, they might be a little bit fun, I'm not too sure. So the next thing we're talking about is picking a side. So this is one of the things that I said on Reddit this morning and had a bit of a discussion with some people, that whatever side the community goes on, we need to all pick the same side so that we can all get like these insane weekly rewards every week, because you compete with the other side in an arena event. So yeah, whatever side we're going for, we need to pick the same side, and both sides have their pros and cons, and it's very hard to tell at the moment which side is going to be better, but at the moment it looks like Grandmaster side, just because of that node. What's the node called? Let me just scroll up again just to remember. That's it, Shatter. Shatter is the only reason that, like, people are like, nah, on the Collector one at the moment. So the Grandmaster side, you get plus 20% ability accuracy, so 20% chance to, you know, proc additional stuff, plus 10% block proficiency, and also for each fight within Act 5, you apply a constant stream of debuffs onto your opponent, and each debuff lasts 5 seconds and can be any debuff in the game, from degeneration to weakness, and their potency can be influenced by class relationships. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one there. Overall, I do think the Collector, he has 10% attack, 10% regeneration, but basically has the inverse to that. So instead of debuffs on the opponent, you get buffs on yourself. However, with Shatter, you know, if Shatter is a really, really big thing in a chapter, it basically means that, you know, every 5 seconds, you're going to be taking like 2.5% of your maximum health. And if we're looking at really, really big fights, where the average enemy maybe has like 100 to 150,000 health, maybe even a little bit more, which is kind of what I expected to scale up to, especially along with the fact that I assume the paths are going to be a little bit longer in this chapter, where you're fighting anywhere between like 10 to 20 enemies average. You're going to have to use like so many units on potions to actually play the Collector. Just looking at it, if it functions that way with the Collector's buff and Shatter, like the Collector's side is just absolutely ruined by that. Granted, when it comes to those, those nodes where you regenerate based off a buff or debuff, Grandmaster's side is a little bit less preferable. With Star-Lord, it's still going to be manageable, it still should be fine, and I assume, you know, if you're going for this really difficult content, pretty much everybody is going to have a Star-Lord or a very hard-hitting champion that doesn't rely on debuffs. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I think one of the things is just keep an open mind in regards to which side you want to go on, because one of the things we need to do as a community is we need to band together with the whales and the highest scorers and everybody on Facebook, everyone on YouTube, and basically pick a side, because this ties into the next thing, the Elders Arena. So basically there's going to be a weekly arena that has milestones and also ranked rewards, and this one you can use all your champions, so 1 stars to 5 stars, and it has some insane milestones. So initially it's just units and lesser Grandmaster shards, and then it ramps up. What is it? You get tier 1 Alpha Catalyst at 500,000, and at 1 million you get free premiums, and then at 1.5 million you get, pretty much half a tier 4 basic. 2.5 million, you get fully formed T4 basic. 3.5 million, you get 10 times 4-star generic signature stones. And at 500,000, you get a 4-star awakening gem crystal. So just getting to 500,000 if you have time and the capacity to do that on a weekly basis. Throughout all this month, you know, throughout all the event's duration, you could potentially get, like, there's also another 4-star awakening gem in the ranked rewards. So yeah, you can get like so many 4-star awakening gems, like more than you'll probably ever need in the game. So yeah, that's a really cool addition. And then going up to 7.5 million, we have some more crystal shards and stuff. And then finally at 10 million, we have 1 tier 4 class catalyst crystal, so you can farm a T4 CC every week, and also get 5 times 5-star generic signature stones, and also Elder's Fright rare title if you do get to the final milestone. And then also for the ranked rewards, so rank 1, like, this is probably just going to be, you know, we don't really need to worry about this, but it's interesting to see. You get 1 times tier 2 Alpha Catalyst. The cutoff for this alone is just going to be so insane. Like, look at all these rewards, they're ridiculous. You get the Warlord title, you get free tier 4 class Catalyst crystals, 3,000 5-star shards, 10 times 5-star generic signature stones, a 4-star awakening gem, and then 10 times greater Grandmaster shard crystals. And then rank 2, you basically get this pretty much the same rewards aside from the title and the fully formed. You only get 1/4 for the tier 2 alpha, but still that's pretty desirable. So yeah, they gradually go down a little bit. What's going to be the bracket that most people, I think, like the 2 to 10%, you know, this is kind of like the one where most, the average player that isn't like a huge whale might be able to slip into. So for getting 2 to 10%, you can get a 4-star hero crystal, 10 times tier 4 class catalyst fragment crystals, 500 5-star shards, 5 times 5-star signature stone crystals, 2 4-star awakening gems, and 10 Grandmaster shard crystals. So getting in the top 10% in this arena, you get 2 4-star awakening gems. That is absolutely insane, and a fully formed 4-star. So yeah, this arena like is so incredibly rewarding. But if you do want to link, I mean, there are so many rewards knocking about. You know, I'll give a link to this in the description if you do want to check this out for yourself. And then finally, this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of, you know, the community need to band together, decide which one we want to get on. And I think it does at the moment make sense to go for Grandmasters, but I'm not going to say definitively yet. I'm sure kind of a few days away, we're going to sit down, have a big conversation about this and decide between us, and then get stuff out on MCOC Infobot Fricos as to which one of the best is the best team to join. But at the moment it looks like Grandmasters, but if we can all decide on the same team, then every week we can all get 10 times 4 signature stone crystals, 5 times 5-star signature stone crystals, 100 4-star shards, and 100 5-star shards. So yeah, really hoping the community can band together and do a solid on that. But yeah, I'm a little bit interested to find out how that goes. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so when this does come out, essentially on the 15th of June, so that's a couple of weeks from now, of course we're going to do it live. It's going to be so much fun, I would imagine. I think there's a lot of good in here in terms of reward. There are so much 4-star stuff being on offer. Like, it's honestly ridiculous. So yeah, further does kind of hint toward that kind of shift toward 5-star characters that we've been talking about for a very long time, now that they're giving away these rewards like candy. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, but very good times. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, are you excited for Act 5 Chapter 2? Who do you think are going to be some of the best champions for dealing with various nodes? Let me know in the comments below your early predictions. Apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.